thought I'm going to come back on then. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek and welcome to episode 149 of Friday Night Appointment with Fear on the Saturday. Because I had to postpone it last night for reasons. But anyway, we're on tonight. Instead, we're doing Blade 2, not... where have I put it? Where have I put it? There. Not the box, as it was as previously advertised, because the disc doesn't work. Tried to play it in my PlayStation, my Xbox, my computer, just would not play, so I've ordered a new disc. That probably won't work either. But so we're doing Blade 2 instead. We did Blade a while ago, now we're doing Blade 2. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we're live on YouTube, I hope. Yes, we're live on Rumble and we're live on Twitch. And all that stuff. And explore the description. Where's my finger? There it is. Explore the description for links for stuff like merch and my books, which are underneath the box. My books, Amazon Kindle and paperback, give them a whirl. And links for my other websites and my social medias and all that stuff. And my other YouTube channels. Or become a member and then you'll get early access videos and exclusive videos and all that cool stuff. Join us in the live... Join us in the live chat if you're a subscriber. And that should be cool. So, there we go. Right. So, Blade 2. The sequel to Blade from 1998. This was from 2002, directed by Guillermo Del Toro. I think his second English language film after Mimic, which he described as a disaster. I'm thinking he didn't have a good time directing Mimic. Pretty good film. We've done it in this series. But anyway, so he co-wrote and directed it along with David S. Goyer. Stars Wesley Snipes, obviously, as Blade. Chris Christopherson returns, even though we thought he died in the first one, but never mind. Ron Perlman, Leonor Varela, Norman Reedus, and Luke Goss, and various other people. Music by Marco Beltram. It's pretty good. It had a budget of $54 million, box office 155, so it did okay. And this is generally regarded as the best of the Blade films, which it is. It is. But anyway. Right, so we'll get on with it, shall we? We're not just going to watch the film because YouTube will go mental and just stop the stream and everything. So we're going to watch it in a series of stills now, try and relate what I have learned from the special features. Packed with special features is this bugger, this Blu-ray. 3 commentaries and various makings of. So it's a pretty good Blu-ray. So we're going to do that. So I shall pop myself down in the corner and we'll get on with it, shall we? If you hear any background noise, it's my son who's lurking in the background. But anyway, doing his best to put me off. Right, let me full screen this and we will begin. I could be slightly distracted. Right, okay, we're off and running. Right, here we go, there we go. Here's the New Line logo in red because it's Blade. And I better check actually that you can hear me because I've got a different setup in my microphone, so I better make sure it's working. It should be. If you hear my voice, if you hear me echoing, hear my voice, that's why. Because I'm just checking this. Where am I? Right. Yes, you can hear me going. Right. Right, where were we? Right, here we go. New Line logo in red because it's blood and vampires and stuff. Right, so we're in Prague. Remember at the end of Blade went to Russia for some reason. I can't remember why, but he went off to Russia looking for vampires. And we learned he were actually looking for Whistler because Whistler wasn't killed, we learned. But anyways, here we are. We're in Prague. So Blade has, rather than go back to America, he's set up shop in Eastern Europe. So anyway, and it's been 2 years since the events of Blade. So we see this chap going to this blood bank. We see there, Parizga Blood Bank, Prague, Czech Republic, or sometimes called Czechia now, isn't it? Or Czechia, I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, there it is. Taking a thing. So he sits down next to Luke Goss, and I'm guessing a lot of homeless people and addicts and people like that give blood to this place, but we learn it's not above board because they get paid and stuff for giving their blood. We learn it's the vampires that are running this place. But there's Luke Goss, who's got a great face, hasn't he? Luke Goss, along with his brother Matt, am I right? We're in the pop group Bros in the 90s. When can I be famous? That sort of stuff. I wasn't into him. But he moved into acting, did Luke, and he's got a great face for acting. He's got a great face for playing a baddie. He kind of looks scowly all the time. But anyway, there he is, looking scowly. You can see he's got a line on his chin. We'll see why later. Right, so his number gets called, so in he goes. For some reason, oh no, it's not a TV. When I watched this, I've watched this 3 times. I watched it like twice yesterday and once today. I thought, why is this TV sparking? And it's not a TV. There you go. It's a fly. It's a fly killer, isn't it? I thought it was a TV. What am I like? Anyway, so they take him downstairs into red rooms, and she's asking him questions. There we go, about his health and stuff like that. And has he undergone piercings? What's that got to do with anything? I don't know. But she asks about the scar on his chin. There we go. It says childhood accident. Anyway, so they take him into this room. It's all looking very, like I say, Eastern Europe-y, because it is. And anyway, so we learn he's got a rare blood type, and so they're all excited, and they said it's bad news for him. So he starts looking scared, but then he starts laughing. And they wonder what he's laughing at. And his teeth seem to change a bit. Oh, hang on. We see they're vampires because we see the teeth in a minute. Hang on, where are we? In a minute. There we go. See, he's got fangs, look, because he's a vampire. And then he just, oh, Pete's sake, and he just leaps out of the chair. You see his chin starting to break apart. And he grabs her, gets her, in what Guillermo Del Toro described as a Jackson Pollock thing on the wall. Just a minute. Just bear with me. I'm back. Sorry, my son. He's got a new laptop and it's setting up still. You know what new computers are like, and he's fretting. Hello, Justin. Luke Damon Goss. Is that his full name? I have no idea. But anywho, he gets her and bites her, obviously. Hang on, where are we? There we go. A lot of claret. And then gets the others, makes short work of the others, and then he's getting this other fella, looks up at the camera, and he says, I hate vampires, but he says it in whatever, is it the vampire language, or is it in Czech? I have no idea, but he says it in a foreign language. You can see there's all vampire text and stuff on the sides of the screen. But anywho, ooh, look, scary. Right, then the credits begin. We get a little bit of exposition from Blade's voice, Wesley Snipes, telling us about what's going on. You go, my name is Blade. Anyway, so now we see his mother there. There we go, his mother, the lovely Sana Lathan. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. But she was in Alien vs Predator, as well as Blade 1. So obviously Blade is a vampire, he's half vampire. He can walk about during the day. Let's say that has none of the vampire weaknesses except he's got the thirst. And we see there's Whistler. Found him as a youngster. They actually did film this scene. They'll just show it as a little flashback here, but they actually did film this scene of Whistler finding him. This wire's getting on my nerves. Bear with me. There we go. They did film this, but they decided not to use it. It's just in this little flashback scene. So there he is, doing his stuff. Right, so he's out on the hunt now. These are vampires. Here he is. It says, the Daywalker, and all that stuff they're saying. And he, there we go, sorts them out in no time at all. He's got super duper vampire killing bullets and all that. And then we have a cool scene with basically dueling on. It's like being a bull, a matador on motorbikes. There's this fella here, who we see a couple of times in this film, a couple of times more in this film. But anyway, here comes Blade to sort them all out. Makes short work of them. There we go. Effects in this film are pretty good. Done by, I think the digital effects were done by Phil Tippett Studios. I don't know if they did the practical effects or if somebody else did them. I think somebody else might have done the practical effects. But Phil Tippett did the CG effects. And some of them look, really, really good, particularly the vampire, the Reapers. And some of them don't look quite as good. For some reason, the vampires, burning up and melting, don't look quite as good. But they're fine, it's fine for me. Justin says, yes, full name. Never liked the half vampires. A lot of times stronger than a full vamp. Ridiculous. It's Wesley Snipes. He's stronger than everybody. Anywho. So there's just this one chap left, him with the red. I think there's just one left. Is he getting him there? Oh, no, there's two left. So here he goes, sorts these out, and there's just that one chap left. And, hang on, he's going to get him now until... Ah! There we go. Cool. He stops just before he hits his car. Don't ask me what sort of car it is. Is it a Dodge Charger? I have no idea. But that's Blade's car. What is Blade's car? Let's have a look. What is Blade's car in the films? All right, it's a Dodge Charger. There we go. See, I do know cars, it seems. But he blows it a kiss because it's his pride and joy, obviously. Right, so he grabs this fella who had the red collar and basically, tortures him. He wants to know where Whistler's being kept. And there we go. There's telling us what happened to him. He shot himself, then he turned, and they kept him alive. So they're explaining what happened. Because he must have been bitten in the first film, and then he shot himself. But obviously not well enough. Anyway. Right, so we're here with some more vampires. It's like the snorting, blood-infused recreational materials. Anyway, so here comes Blade. It's going to sort them all out. Here we go. For peace sake. Skipping over the best bits. There we go. So, sorts them all out. By the way, he tells this fella, it says, do as I say, and you'll live to fight another day. Which, he keeps his word. He sorts all these out. And tells him to, he says, catch your leader to the other fella. There we go, saying it now, look. I just said it. There we go, catch your leader. So we see him two more times in this film. Once in the middle-ish, and then again at the end. Anyway, so here goes, he's found Whistler. He's in this vat. Why are they keeping in this vat? I have no idea, but they are doing. Oh man, look at what they've done to you, he says. Anyway, so he gets him out, and it looks a bit like, in the Matrix or something, doesn't it? I'm guessing, because even though the first film came out before the Matrix, I'm guessing this one's more. It is inspired by the Matrix. Not inspired, but influenced by the Matrix. There's a lot of Matrix style fighting in it, and he even looks like Keanu when he comes out of his pod, doesn't he? In that, but anyway. So here we go. Takes him back to his new hideout in Prague. Here it is. And here we're introduced to Norman Reedus. There he is as Scud, who is the Blade's new weapons man. Obviously, the replacement for Whistler. Makes all Blade's weapons and gadgets and stuff. It's one of Norman Reedus' earlier films, I think. Guillermo Del Toro said I think he gave Norman Reedus his first film role in Mimic. But we did it, didn't we? I don't remember seeing Norman Reedus. Or maybe we did. Maybe I point him out in the film. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway. So, as you can see, he's got fangs, look, as Whistler. So he has been turned. So he's going to give him the cure. Remember, they found the cure, didn't they, in the first film? So he's going to give him that. So we're going to lock him up. And there we go. His accelerated retroviral detox. Leave him in there. Basically till morning. So in the morning, these blinds will open up whether you're cured or not. So anyway, Scud's unsure of what to do with Whistler. Said this would put him out of his misery. Anywho, so he's having a little bit of a flashback of when Whistler died in the first film. But anyway, suddenly there's alarms going off. I think it's this bit. Is it? Oh no, not yet. We ain't got there yet. It must be next morning or whatever. And he's fine. He's all cured now. And there you go, telling him how he's tracked him down. Originally, they were supposed to go back to America. So the first film was set in America, wasn't it? It was in like Los Angeles or somewhere, wasn't it? And but he's obviously not now. He's still in Prague. But I think the original script had him going back to America. But Guillermo Del Toro says, why bother? Just keep him in Eastern Europe. It's fine. But then you get scenes like this, where he's looking for something that were obviously there in his pad or whatever, in their hideout, their lair in the United States, and he finds it. So, did he bring this over? Did Blade bring this over with him from America? I doubt it, but anyway. Justin says he did Juices Wild also around this time. Good movie. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Whistler's in shape. He's one of those old fellas that always looks as though he's in shape, doesn't he? Like Iggy Pop. Anyway. Anywho. So he's found something there. I don't know what it is. It's his ring, isn't it? It's a ring or something. It's his wedding ring. Because all his family were killed, weren't they, by vampires. That's why he became a vampire hunter. Anyway, they don't get on to Scud and Whistler. And anyway, I think some vampires arrive now. The alarms go off. Here we go. We've got some suckheads coming in. Because they're quite cool. They've got body temperature 50. So I'd guess suckheads. So here we come. They're being invaded by vampires. The vampire ninjas they turn out to be. So, and here we go. I'm going to show them. I've got there yet. Is it? No, it's Whistler that's cracked him one, hasn't he? As I said, they don't get on. So here come the ninja vampires. A lot of CG in this. And this, he said, did Guillermo Del Toro. This is probably the first film in which we see, like, CG superhero fights. Because this is more of a comic book movie, really, than the first film. Even though it's based on a comic book, a Marvel comic book. The first one wasn't really very comic booky, but this one is. And Guillermo Del Toro, he says, he uses quotes. He says this scene quotes, a scene that we've seen in comic books like Watchmen and stuff like that. I presume Blade as well. But anyway, so here they are, look, swinging through the rafters and doing all this cool stuff. And fighting, even though they're only there to deliver a message, but they're doing lots of fighting for some weird reason. So here we go, they're going to start fighting Blade. She's obviously fighting a woman in this one. Anyway, some of it does look very CG, a very weird way they move. See if we can find it. See if we can find a bit. Is it? It's not landing on him, is it? Look very animated. That's what I'll say. Looks very animated. But Apparently, obviously they had stunt coordinators and stuff and fight choreographers. But according to Guillermo, a lot of the fights were basically choreographed by Wesley Snipes. Some of the martial arts fights were choreographed by Donnie Yen, who appears later. But anyway, so they stop fighting, and he says, "We're here to deliver a message from the Vampire Nation." After the all fighting, it's this bit. This bit looks very weird movements out there, very animated. There's all the cartoons in it, but anyway. But there we go. Nissa, put your sword away. We see a familiar face here when they remove their masks and they turn the lights off. Because I presume these are supposed to be UV lights. He's down on one knee, look. A message. They want to meet you. Anyway, take off your mask. And this is where we're introduced to, in a minute, when he shows him. There he is. Danny John Jules, who you may know from Red Dwarf. He played Cat in Red Dwarf. So it seems his two biggest roles, he's most famous for this and Red Dwarf. He had to wear fangs for both, didn't he? Because he had fangs because he was a cat, wasn't he? In Red Dwarf. But he's not playing this one for laughs. Anywho. So off they go to go and meet with the bad guys. So they're in a helicopter now, flying to the bad guys' HQ. And this scene on the helicopter, actually, Wesley Snipes is not there. Because they were off doing something else or something. It started filming. This might have been a pickup shot or something. And Guillermo Del Toro said he'd shaved his head and because they were doing another film. And he wasn't available for this this scene. So they basically used his stunt double. Or he's standing. There he is. This is Wesley Snipes standing. That's not Wesley Snipes. And Wesley Snipes came back in later and dubbed the voice for this bit. But anyway. So there he goes. Got loads of Semtex just in case it all goes wrong for him. But anyway, so here they go landing at this building, which I don't know what it is. The location stuff in IMDb is very lax. It just says Prague, New York, London, and that's about it. It doesn't tell us any of the buildings, so I don't know what this is. I'm guessing it's a real building in Prague, but don't ask me what it is. It looks cool though. Looks very futuristic and modern. It looks, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Liberty Island in Escape from New York. It kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, sorry, Justin. Justin says, Deuces Wild, 1950s Street Gangs film, Stephen Dorff. Oh, we're in the first Blade. Matt Dillon, many others, very good. Check it out. Okie dokie, I won't. But I'll take your word for it that it's good. But I'll forget. I'll have forgot by the time. In 5 minutes, I'll have forgot all about it. You know what I'm like. Anyway, right, so they arrive at this building. It's very deliberately very modern on the outside, and we learn that it's a modern building that's being built on, ancient foundations, and there's an ancient core to the centre of it. Just says, I think it was an old Soviet building. Maybe so, I don't know. But now it is the headquarters of Caliban, whatever it says. I can't remember what it says. Do we get another view? Where are we? It says somewhere there. So Caliban, is it Industries? Caliban Industries, yeah. Right, so here we go. Going through all the security checks, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. They're heading into the older part with all the stonework. And here we're introduced to, I forgot his name, Thomas Kretschmann, is that right? Let me check. Yes, Thomas Kretschmann, who plays Eli Damaskinos, who's the leader of this particular group of vampires. He's supposed to be Greek and maybe thousands of years old. Pardon me. But he's not a pure-born vampire. His kids are, but he's not. But it's why he looks the way he does. Guillermo Del Toro said he wanted him to look like he was made of marble, because he's like from ancient Greece. So he wanted to make him look like an old Greek statue. Anywho, Thomas Kretschmann's been he was in King Kong, wasn't he? He played the ship captain on King Kong. He's been in loads of other stuff as well, but I'm blanking. There we go. Overlord Eli Damaskinos, and so it's where they're going to tell him that they've got a new enemy. Hang on. What in Warhammer 40k? I've no idea. I didn't think they'd made that yet. Or is he going to be in it? Don't know. This fella, there we go, is the familiar of Damaskinos, who's human. I'm going to have to look him up now, because it's not his voice. Played by Carol Roden, is this fella, but his voice, right, so his character's called Coonan, so I'm going to have to look it up now. So it'll say Coonan voice, I think. Maybe. It's not saying. It doesn't say. But apparently it's not his voice. They got an English fella in to do his voice, but he's not credited. Not that I can see. Not on IMDb anyway. Not on IMDb. Nope. I'm just checking again. No. Yeah, they got an English fella in to overdub his voice. Because they said he had a really thick accent and they couldn't understand what he was saying. But anywho. Right, so I'm going to tell him that these new strain of vampires that they've called Reapers have just appeared. And you know, they're going out and spreading, creating new vampires. But they feed on vampires themselves. So he wants Blade to take out his new squad of vampire mercenaries, ninjas, whatever you want to call them. The Blood Pack. Very, you know, original name. But they want him to lead those and find. There we go. They found him. I forgot his name. There we go. Jared Nomak. They want to go find him and take him out, and all the others as well, obviously. And they want Blade to lead them. So there we go. And you know, says, you know, Blade just says, "Well, what do you want me to do? You know, sounds good for me, but bad for you if he's feeding on vampires." And says, "Well, what do you think will happen when they've wiped the vampires out? They will turn on your precious humans." But anyway, so there we go. They want him to lead the Blood Pack. The Blood Pack were trained to take out Blade, which obviously they don't do. They keep trying. A couple of them do. But anyway, so they head back to their lair. And obviously they don't trust him at all. But anyway, so we're back in Prague again. And this fella's, I can't remember, I think he might be the stunt coordinator or something. I can't remember. But hang on. Caliban was the name of the Space Marine Legion called the Dark Angels. Caliban was their home world. All right. I know Caliban's from an ancient Greece, isn't it? But I can't remember. There were Calibos, weren't there? I can't remember what Caliban was. I know Caliban was one of the mutants in X-Men, wasn't it? 40k is big in Europe. It's big everywhere, isn't it? I don't know. But, I'm not a fan of Warhammer or them. You know, I'm not a fan of role-playing games, tabletops and all that stuff. I've never tried the video game versions. Anywho, right. So this is a drug dealer. She's coming up to get some drugs off him, and we see Nomax there, and he gestures him, you know, come over here. And I wouldn't go over to him, would you? I wouldn't want to go over to him. But he does. He says, you know, you want to buy some drugs, you know. And he says, you know, anything you need. He says, well, what if I need you? And he gets him. He was licking blood off that glass because he put him through a car windscreen, and then he gets him. Do we see his? I don't think we see the full opening of his face yet. No, we don't. We just get a glimpse of it. And I'll get into, you know, why they look like they do on there later on. Right, Blade's taking his vaccine serum, whatever you want to call it, that stops him from getting the thirst. So, and she catches him. I forgot her name, Lisa. She catches him. She's got these little tattoos. Look, I'm guessing they're tattoos over her eyes. They're kind of nice. I'm not a fan of facial tattoos, but they're kind of cool because they're delicate and diddy. Justin says, "Really? Wow!" As in that, I don't like stuff like Warhammer and that. I haven't got patience for it. I like the lore, but I play. I've not got the patience for tabletop games. Years and years ago, when I was younger, somebody tried to get me into Dungeons and Dragons, but I just couldn't be. But it was just too much hard work having all those books. But anyway, I'm lazy. I'm a lazy thick git. Anyway, so she says to him, "They're ready for you." So down he comes, and they're getting ready to. They're introducing us to the blood pack. I can't remember what his name is. So we've got Lisa. We've got Assad. Right, so he's Assad, and then who else we got? Lighthammer, there he is, and Verlaine. They're kind of a thing. They kind of remind me a bit of Vasquez and Drake from Aliens, sort of. But anyway. Justin says, this movie reminded me of The Strain. Haha, Steve, you don't like anything tonight. That's true. Not in the mood to like things. But yes, The Strain. Now, we're going to mention that later. We'll get into it. Which were also a Guillermo Del Toro production. Anywho, there we go. Lighthammer, Verlaine. Who else have we got? There's Priest, played by, what do they call him? Cullen. Something Cullen. I forgot his bloody name now. Tony Curran, that's it. Who'd also played was he a vampire or was he a werewolf? Or was he a bit of both? He was a bit of both, wasn't he, I think, in the Underworld series. I can't remember. He was a baddie in Underworld anyway, wasn't he? Snowman, there we go. Donnie Yen, that's Snowman. He's got eyeliner on. You wearing eyeliner? But there he is. There's Chupper. Don't ask me who plays him. Chupper, where are you? Where's Chupper? Where the hell is he? Why aren't it showing his? Oh, there he is. As Matt Schultz. Don't know. And who else? There's just one more. And Reinhardt, who's played by everybody's favourite. For Pete's sake. There he is. Ron Perlman, Hellboy himself. And everybody used to like Ron Perlman, but he kind of went mental, didn't he? Like a lot of actors and actresses do. They kind of go on social media and make an ass of themselves. And Ron Perlman kind of did that, didn't he? He was the vampire Marcus. He was one of the first. Oh, in the first one, yes. I think in the commentary, somebody does say, he was in the first film, but I can't remember. Anyway, so and we learn that his racist is Reinhardt. They keep making out he's like Nazi. But he's asking if Blade can blush, which is based on a real thing that happened to Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes kind of added this part himself. He says, can we do this part? Because it did happen to him in real life, where I think it was a German, some drunken German or whatever, asked him, kind of naughtily, but I don't know if it was in a racist way or whatever, I don't know, but asked him if he could blush. And obviously they can. But there you go, can you blush? So they're not going to get on, are they? Right, so it is, you want to take me out, here's your chance. But obviously it's not going to happen, because he's Blade. Anyway, alright, and he sticks an explosive device on the back of Reinhardt's head. There we go. Rigged to go off if anybody tampers with it. And he's got the detonator. So don't mess with me. That's his what's the phrase? I can't really remember. Thingamabob. Anyway. Right, so they're going to go looking now. Here they're headed to the House of Pain, which is a vampire discotheque. So we get a scene now that's mildly reminiscent of the disco, the blood disco in the first film, except there's no blood spraying out of the walls in this one. But obviously vampires like their nightclubs, don't they? Anyway, so they're going in. Whistler's going to set up on a nearby rooftop with a sniper rifle, and Scud's staying in the van. Right, hang on. Right, I missed this bit. So there's a fight scene in this part, in this section of the movie. And I wonder what were going on. And so obviously I wasn't paying attention, even though I watched this film like 3 times the last 2 days. I wasn't paying attention in this bit. So there we go. Got a pneumatic syringe delivery system. The vials are filled with an anticoagulant called EDTA. One punch with this and you'll blow your target up like a balloon. The cartridge ejects. Automatic reload. Cool. We'll get to, that later. There's a bit where he's fighting Nomak and he's given and this cartridge ejects. And then all this stuff happens with Nomak and I think, what's going on here? If I'd paid attention, I don't know, wouldn't I? Anyway, right, so cover our backs, blah, blah, blah. He's teasing him with the detonator. Right, in they go. Diddling, ding, diggy, ding, ding, diggy, ding, diddling, ding, diggy, ding, ding, diddling. Din, din, din. I love that song. I forgot what it's called now. Anyway, from Kill Bill. Anyway, they're going in. But not through the front door. They're going through, a hatch for some reason. Because he says, does Blade, how do you know it's a vampire place? There's no, vampire markings. In the first film, they used to use like ultraviolet light, didn't they, to show up these vampire markings, but there's none of that as well. Since you've been around, we've had to change our ways. Anyway, so down they go into this vampire house of pain or whatever they called it. Nomak is a bad dude, but not really. He's not the main baddie, really, is he? In this film, we find out. Spoilers. Anyway, so here we go. There we go. Lots of vampires dancing and stuff. Woo, yeah. Dee. My nightclub days are far behind me. Luckily, Lighthammer has this paraphernalia on that just happens to have a nice big bit of leather there covering his neck. For reasons we will find later. Facial tattoos. I don't like facial tattoos. Thinks he's Chakotay, doesn't he? Anyway. Having a nice smile. There's a smile in there because he's just seen somebody. Here he is. There he is. He's just seen that fella again. He's got a name, but I can't remember what it is. Does it tell us? Let's have a look. I can't remember. And I probably won't remember. Is it Rush? It might be Rush, his name. No, but he would have beat Blade if he didn't off himself. That's for later, isn't it? Anyway, he sees Blade and says, oh no, I'm out of here. And that's why Blade has a little smile to himself. Right. Oh, I see this as well. I'm not sure what's going on here. Apologies for the gore and all that stuff, but it's like cutting strips off this young lady. She seems to be enjoying it, but whatever. Anyway, there's a hole. There's a safe house with 300 suckheads in there. Anyway, so they're all getting up to their depraved vampire stuff. Reinhardt says it's so easy, I could off him now. But then we see that Blade's got his gun pointed at Reinhardt, so, don't try. But then, all the Reapers below, looking up, ready to cause havoc. Daywalker. Anyway, so they're having a route about, looking for Reapers. And Lighthammer finds one. Here we go, there's one there, look. Hey. It moves really weird, is this fella. But, so he's going to have a fight with that one. They've got about an hour till sunrise, so they're going to have to get cracking, aren't they? He's having a donut. And Reapers are going to start attacking his truck any minute now. She's going to have a look up that ladder. Is Blade looking in this room? Right, is this the one? Is this the bit? No, it's not this bit. He finds a room with a chap in it, and that was supposed to be Michael Jackson, but it wasn't. Anyway, here we go. Nomak finds, I forgot her name again, Lissa, finds Lissa, but doesn't kill her because he's not the bad guy. Anyway, they do mention that a couple of times in this film. Why didn't they kill her, or why didn't he kill me, or stuff like that, or why didn't he kill him? And because he's got reasons for why he's doing all this stuff. Anyway, Lighthammer's having a good old fight with this one, whacks him with his hammer. Doesn't do anything to him. So they're going to start shooting now. But anyway, he shoots Nomak in the head. There we go. Sends him flying backwards. And they start shooting these other Reapers. But we learn they've got silver bullets, by the way. And we learn that silver doesn't affect them. It doesn't kill them. As he hit him, yes, he's whacked him with his hammer, look, but they can just fix themselves instantly. Apparently they've got a really fast metabolism, and they're really hot, so they probably show up as hot on heat things. Because the vampires show up as cold, they probably show up as hot because they run really hot. So they need to feed more often. Anyway, so they're all dealing with all these Reapers. Donnie Yen's going at it with his sword. So anyway, that's it. All fun and games. Shooting. Innocent. Said in the commentary, innocent vampires getting taken out. Because Guillermo Del Toro's got a thing for vampires. He's a bit of a vampire expert. His commentary on the Blu-ray, where he's doing it by himself. There's a commentary with him by himself, and there's a commentary with Guillermo Del Toro and the producer, whose name I've forgotten. And there's a commentary with David S. Goyer and Wesley Snipes. But in the commentary with Guillermo Del Toro, where he's talking by himself, he goes on for a really long time about just talking about vampires and all the different sorts of vampires, vampire lore, and all that stuff. He goes on for ages. He's a bit of an expert on vampires. He's a bit obsessed with them, to be completely honest. But anyway, they're all fighting away. We can't kill them. There we go. Silver don't do jack shit. Don't waste the bullets. But it does. It just does. Anyway. Look, they're trying to get in to get Scud, but he starts his truck up and squashes this fella. Then turns his lights on the top of the truck, his UV lights. But anyway, meanwhile, Lighthammer's still fighting this fella, and he thinks he's killed him. Hang on, I missed that bit there. Where are we? If you notice, there we go. On the back of this one, he's got like these weird marks, and it's the only time we see him when they feed. But I'll go on about it in a minute. Right, so I forgot his name. Snowman kills it. Was it Snowman? That doesn't sound right, was it? I think it wasn't it. I think it was Snowman. Where are you? Go on, Donnie. Where are you? Yes, Snowman. All right. Stabs this one and basically fastens him to the wall with his katana. And in the original script, I can't remember. I think he just pulled the sword out and scurried off. But Guillermo Del Toro said, wouldn't it be cool if he just castrated himself? Which he does. Rather than just pull the sword out, he just rips his bits out and heads up the wall. And it's okay, we can show it because it's not red blood, look, it's all yellow blood. There's a lot of yellow, and green blood in this, and black blood, so that they didn't get a NC-17 rating or whatever. But anyway, off he scurries off away. Lighthammer's checking out. He thought he'd killed this one, but obviously not, and he's going to get got any minute now. Anyway, where are we? Which bit are we on here now? Right, here we go. They're trying to get Scud. That's Priest, Tony Curran. He's going to get got by, or he has been got, I think, by... Oh, it's where we see the first... I see, I've gone past it now. The bloody skip on this. Where is it? Where the hell is it now? The bloody skip. Either skips too far or not enough, doesn't it? Oh, for Pete's sake. Where's the one that got Tony Curran? Have I gone past it? No, it's him, isn't it? He goes through there. Because he sent Tony Curran flying through that window. And he's going to get him in a minute. And so it says first reveal, for God's sake. It's what I want to find it for, of the Reapers, what they do. He's fighting him, knocks him down. That Snowman stabs him. He goes scurrying off. Up he goes. Checking that fella. He's doing this, that, and the other. Have I gone past? I must. Maybe I'm not up to that bit yet. he runs off. Oh, why, that's it. Yes, he's going to run off him, but he runs, there we go, into, I forgot his name already, Assad, Danny John Jules. They have a little fight, and Danny John Jules just disappears. It like just throws him away, sends him skidding down there, and we don't see him again for ages. And he doesn't look like he's knocked out or anything. But here we go. He turns his attention to Priest, and this is where we see what happens with Priest and this Reaper. Oh, and he's breaking his wrists and bashing him against the wall because Guillermo Del Toro said they were like animals, they were just acting on instinct and just, wanting to kill their prey to death. Anyway, Reinhardt's found one that's slightly injured, and he sticks him to the wall, crucifies him basically. Right, so Priest is going to get got by this one there. He's licking him, and then he opens up, which is a really good effect. It still looks good today. There we go. All CG. Obviously the head, that part's real, but the bottom part's CG, and it looks really good for 2002. But it still looks good today. There's another one in a bit that's like a full animatronic, but I think that was cool. So he starts feeding on Priest. There we go. And now Lighthammer's going to get attacked by this one. Here we go. And see, he's digging his fingers into Lighthammer's back for some weird reason. But anyway, his face opens up, and this is a fully animatronic Reaper here now. That basically the Lighthammer actor is holding, or is underneath it, or whatever, and he's kind of controlling it. And off camera, Guillermo Del Toro is saying, stick your neck in it, or let it bite you, and all that. But anyway, so biting him, and then obviously drinking his blood, drinking the vampire blood, and then these things come out of his back. And in the commentary with Wesley Snipes, he was saying, I have no idea what these are for. It's something from Guillermo Del Toro's imagination. But apparently these are filters or something. I have no idea. It says it was inspired by bugs and ticks and stuff like that. And it says they filter the vampire blood, and and the waste comes out of these little holes. So he said he wanted them to be feeding and shitting at the same time. It's Guillermo Del Toro. He's got a weird mind, hasn't he? Anyway, right. So he's going to turn the lights on out there. There we go. Turns the lights on and burns all the Reapers outside. Meanwhile, they get interrupted by Verlaine. He runs off. And she goes, "Oh, Lighthammer, are you okay? Did it bite you?" And he's like, "No, just hurt my back." Because he's the one. If it were a zombie film, he'd be the one saying, "No, I haven't been bit," honest, and then be hiding his bite with his sleeve or whatever. But in this case, he hides the bite with his handy bit of leather that's stuck up. She doesn't notice it because she's on the wrong side of him. But anyway, but then he's covering it up because he's going to turn. We know that. Right, this one is, let's say, skewered this one to the wall, and then he uses UV light on this one and burns that one to a crisp. Any minute now. Where is it? There we go. Here he goes. Right, so and he enjoys it a bit too much, doesn't he? There's another one. Oh, that's the one that's just been feeding on Priest. They're cool effects, and it goes running off. Anyway, Priest is down. They've lost a man. They've actually lost two, but they don't know it yet. Meanwhile, Blade is going to come across Nomak, so they have a fight here. We see his head starts healing up. There we go. So they have a fight here. Very, very Matrixy. Even the music is very. I'll play a little bit. Even the music's very Matrixy when they start fighting. Oh, crack! That was loud, wasn't it? There we go. Oh, that's going on. So they're fighting away, and this way he's getting in with them. The things earlier that has got that. I can't remember what it was called, but he gets in with that. and makes him fall, pushes him back. And so this is the bit where it doesn't affect him. Look, it hurts him, but it doesn't, is fine. And I was like, what's going on there? Because I'd not paid attention earlier. But anyway, so they're still fighting. They fall off that thing, fall down there. And but he gets burnt. Hang on. Oh, we haven't got that thing yet. We need the same thing, Blade. So they're still fighting. I think this set here is kind of inspired. I'm trying to find a good view of it. This thing that they're fighting in front of. Whatever. This. I think it's kind of inspired by Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Because in one of the commentaries, or maybe the behind the scenes, I can't remember which, Guillermo Del Toro says he's obsessed with the film Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And one part of this film, I can't remember which, but I think the Reapers themselves, the way they're designed and all that, they were inspired by the mutants in that film. And this, I think, is inspired from that as well, because they live in this like temple that is like a ruined thing from New York City. New York City! And all that. But anyway. Why have I got a recording thing in there? I don't know. Anyway. But it doesn't say it in the commentary, so I'm totally wrong, probably. Anyway, they're still fighting away. But then it reflects the sunlight off his sword onto Nomak, and he goes running off. So they will live to fight another day. And then he says to her, why didn't you tell me they were immune to silver and garlic? Because he must have garlic things as well. And he says, I didn't know. Says it just like that. I didn't know. If you did, would you have told me? Because obviously he doesn't trust them. Anyway, so Priest is already starting to change. Apparently he's been... when was he bitten? About 20 minutes ago. And it's already starting to change. And we see he's starting to get his... there we go. His chin's starting to rip. And anyway, saying, kill me. So he shoots him, but obviously that doesn't do it. So they chop the top of his head off. And even that doesn't kill him. Pete's sake. Whatever, they chop the top of his head off, and even that hadn't killed him. And so Blade says, okay, let me deal with this. And he just shoots a hole in the wall. There we go with his gun. The light comes in, and that burns him up. He's telling him to back off. And all that's left is the top of his head with his eyes still looking around. So it must be like a zombie. We learn that the Reapers in this, every part of them, they're like the Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Every part of them is alive and wants to feed. So that's why they're so hard to kill, except by sunlight. But anyway. We see that... meanwhile, I forgot to mention, Whistler abandoned his post. He disappeared. It showed his gun there, and he wasn't there. It turns out he'd found a Reaper. And... So there, this Reaper's been trapped. This thing shut. What the hell was that? Just a minute. I've got to go check on something. This is why I didn't do my show last night. Genuinely. Never have kids. Especially, whatever. Never mind. Where was I? Don't know. I've lost my train of thought now. Totally lost my train of thought. They found one. Yeah, he's got his... Somehow, I don't know how, he's got his arm trapped in this thing that they came through. And apparently he's gone all week because he needs to feed. So that basically, she says, we need to examine it as quickly as possible. So they're going down into where the Reapers live, I'm guessing, down in the sewers or whatever. Anyway, meanwhile, I forgot his name already. Damiskinos, something like that. He's eating his... I was going to show it there. Eating his blood jello, which is what it genuinely supposed to be. So he's getting a status report from the other fella, saying, you've lost a man. How many are you willing to lose? And he says all of them, even his own daughter. Anyway, so we learn that the one that they've caught, one of the security people from the guards, and he's just like I say, he's not even trying to attack him. He's just like weak and rubbish. So anyway, so they're basically going to do an autopsy. It's a bit like that scene in Battle Los Angeles, where they get that alien, and basically just cut it open to find out how to kill it. Cut it open while it's still alive. Find out. That's basically what they're doing here with him. So there we go. Having a look at all their bits and bobs. I've got bifurcated masseter muscles, whatever that means. But then they've got no lower mandible, so it's all flesh. Then the lower jaw bone has disappeared, and there's just flesh there now. So that's why it can open. So how can they talk and all that? And I don't know, but anyway. Well, I said the others don't seem to talk, but I said Nomak can't he? There we go. They've got some sort of venom in their teeth. Does she say what it is? I can't remember. Does she? Neurotoxin. There we go. Probably paralyses their victim. Does it? Didn't paralyse Lighthammer, did it? Anywho, see there is where he's been. He was bitten. That's where he was bitten, and so therefore turned. But then she's going to cut him open now. She's checking Lighthammer's wounds. Says your wounds are healing nicely, but remember he's got a big bite mark that's all oozing yellow because he's going to turn. There we go. They cut him open. It's magnificent, isn't it? It's like Alien, isn't it? But that's where she's telling us that every part of them, wants to feed, and we learn that they've got a big bony thing in front of the heart, a rib cage. I think that's what she's trying to say. But there's loads of bone protecting the heart, and the only way to get in is through the side. Anyway, right. So he's decided they're going to go in daytime to get Nomak. So there we go. Meanwhile, Scud is looking for parts to make super duper grenades. That'll kill the Reapers. Anyway, so they're having a little tete-a-tete. They kind of have a romance, does Lissa and Blade, but not really. I don't know. It's not really a romance. It's more like mutual respect they've got for each other. Anyway, so it seems that they're starting to get on a little bit. Whistler's starting to appreciate, that Scud is good at making stuff. So it's where we learn that Scud were attacked by two vampires. They're watching the Powerpuff Girls for some reason. Scud were attacked by vampires, and Blade saved him. So that's why he's working for Blade. And he just happens to be really good at making things. And there we go. So that's the grenades. So they make loads of those that they're going to use. Right, so off they're going to go. They're putting their uniforms on, armour and stuff, and they've got a big bomb, that does the UV light stuff. Pardon me. And here he is telling her, he's got a 10-second delay on this UV grenade. Get to cover. Make sure you get to cover. And then Whistler says, "You're getting a little cozy with Miss Muffet." And says, "Whose side are you on?" And he says, "Oh, that's funny coming from someone who spent 2 years with the enemy." But, anyway, then he does the old, "Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer." And Guillermo Del Toro hated that line. He says everybody will know what that is. It's a hokey, cliched line, isn't it? But the producer and David S. Goyer loved it, and so it stayed in. But it is kind of, God, everybody knows that. But anyway, right. So down they go, back into the bowels of Prague, which is a set, obviously. I think it is in Prague. Is the set. Right, so here they are. They split up into 3 teams. Whistler goes with Reinhardt and Chupa. Blade goes with Lissa and I think Assad. And Snowman goes with Lighthammer and Verlaine. I can't remember all the names. And he says, Whistler says it's dark, I can't see, even though it's perfectly well lit. But I presume to the naked eye, it must be quite dark down there. And so they give him some not night vision goggles, like heat goggles, aren't they? So they're showing up as hot, aren't they? Which they shouldn't be. Earlier on we saw them, they were blue, weren't they, because they were 50 degrees. Maybe it's just the way it's calibrated, I don't know. Because you can change the calibration, can't you, of these thermal cameras. Anywho, he notices something, this blade down on the floor, and he picks up I think it's a pair of false teeth, isn't it? Or the bottom part, or maybe, I don't know, I think it's false teeth. So I'm not sure. I didn't see an explanation for this, but we see, lots of body parts. There we go. And but I don't. Is it just to show that they've been feeding, or maybe they've just been feeding on like old people and tramps and hobos and the dregs of society? Is that what that's supposed to be? Showing, with the false teeth and all that. I don't know, but anyway, right. So I'm talking about Chupa and Reinhardt turn on Whistler and basically just start beating him up. Whistler, as he's getting beaten up, sets off. They've got these pheromone sprayers that attract the Reapers, so he sets that off. Meanwhile, Verlaine finds Lighthammer feeding on Snowman. There we go. Apparently, Donnie Yen had commitment, so he couldn't appear anymore. So they basically just killed him off screen, so to speak. I don't think that's Donnie Yen. But Lighthammer's killing him. And so she's like, "Oh no!" So she shoots him. But it doesn't work, so she goes running up this ladder. And then we go, opens the manhole, because remember it's daylight, opens the manhole, killing them both. He's having fun and games, he's Reinhardt with a bit of daylight. But then, Reapers come, CG Reapers. Apparently they only had 16 people to, in the makeup as Reapers. It's all they could afford. They just had 16. So they just like duplicated them all over, and when they needed lots of them on screen at once, they were just duplicated, or just use the same Reapers over and over again in different scenes. You can't really tell, because they all look alike anyway, don't they? I'm such a Reaperist. Anyway, so he's setting the bomb for a 10-second countdown. It's very, very, analog, isn't it? But he can't set it. Does it show it? I'll not show it in a minute. He can't set it. The arming thing's broken. Anyway, they're on the radio. Spot the group in the East Tunnel. He's still looking at these bones. There we go. Still looking at them. Even part of a face there. I'm still trying to wonder why he finds it so interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think in any of the commentaries they mentioned it. What were the significance of this pile of bones? I don't know. If you know, let me know. Anyway, so I found another pile of bones. Look, I don't know what's going on. But here we go. He comes in now and says, get out of here right now, because for some reason he's sussed it out what's going on. I don't know how. But anyway, the Reapers come up from under the water and get Assad and drag him down. And then he tells her to get out. He throws a grenade, counts, because he's got a 10 count, remember. And so it goes off. They all come out of the water for some reason. Don't know why. Exactly on 10. I don't know. But he gets them, chops them all up with his sword. And this is inspired by comic books. I think Frank Miller, Guillermo Del Toro said inspired by Frank Miller, all the backlit action and all that. But anyway. So he can't set the bomb off, so he calls it a piece of junk and just leaves it. But Whistler's still, he hasn't killed Whistler as Chubb, he just beat him up, and then he gets got, I think. Have I missed it? Because what the hell is this? And then he gets got. There we go. By Reapers. In a minute. I think they're getting him now, aren't they? They all descend on Chopper. And Whistler buggers off. He's shooting them and running away with Lissa and Blade. They've got sets off some more UV grenades to deal with some more shooting. And Reinhardt failed to tell him that the bomb handle, arming handle, whatever you want to call it, is broken. So obviously Blade fixes it by kicking it and sets it off. And there we go. It takes them all out and just burns Reinhardt and Lissa a bit. But anyway. Right, so hang on, this one here. They didn't know how to do these bodies of these burnt Reapers, and they were inspired actually by Pompeii. So the bodies that they found in Pompeii, the archaeologists, weren't actually the bodies, were they? It was just like the ash husks. The bodies had long since rotted away, hadn't they? And it was just the ashen husks that were left, and that's what these are now. But basically filled with like iron. What do they call it? Iron, filled with steel wool, and set on fire. Presume petrol and stuff were used, and set on fire. And they said to Wesley, it'll be fine. It'll just spark a bit, and it'll look cool. But it didn't. It did all that, which you weren't expecting. But they didn't tell him, and nobody said cut. And they just said, let's just keep filming. Let's just keep filming. And so, anyway. Because I don't think they could afford to make another, because it was really complicated how they made them or something. Anyway, it does look cool, I must admit, and horrific. Anyway, yes, Whistler comes across Nomak and says, "You will survive this," and he gives him his ring. Here we go. It says, "And tell Blade about this ring." So that's what it's. There we go. Because he's not the real baddie, Nomak, to be completely honest. It's always the vampires that are the baddies, isn't it? Anyway. I'm going to talk about the inspiration for the vampires in this film, wasn't I? When we first saw them go... some might say, Guillermo Del Toro, he used them again in The Strain, which, yeah, he did. But he had the idea for these sorts of vampires like years before. He'd done drawings of stuff of vampires with, the mouths all opened up like that. Years and years before he did this, and then this was his opportunity to put them on screen. And he and a friend of his, whose name I've forgotten, does it say in this? I can't remember. I don't know, it's not on here. It might be in the Strain wiki. They wrote a trilogy of books, the Strain trilogy of books, didn't they? I think that was before they did the TV show. But the vampires in that are called Strogoi, something like that. But anyways, it kind of, resurrected the idea of these vampires, the mouths opened up in the Strain, didn't they? And And it looks cool. I must admit, it looked cool. But people thinking, well, he's just copying himself, which he kind of was. But anyway. By the way, I didn't watch all of this. I think I saw season 1 or part of season 1. Maybe I saw all of it. I can't remember, but I didn't see any of the other seasons. Anyway, right. So all the Reapers there are dead. I think there's only Nomak left now. He finds Lissa. She's dying. She's not quite dead. So he's going to do the old, as Guillermo Del Toro called it, going to do a wrist job. Where he's going to, cut his wrist so she can feed on his blood and revive her a bit. But then other vampires arrive. Hang on, is it Nomak arrives first and watches, and then we see Blade gets got. What's these wires here? Is it just a taser? Oh, it is just a taser, isn't it? Gets got by a taser. Nomak runs off. And anyway, it's another squad that's coming in with that lawyer, whose name I've forgotten already. And then we see Reinhardt's all burnt on one side of his face. So anyway, so they're taking him in, and they catch Whistler as well. And they take him into the vampire base. Anyway, there we see the family crest. I've dishonoured the family crest, she says, but she hasn't really. He's done it already, we learn. Anyway, right, so they got Blade in this James Bond room. That's what they call it, this set. They called it the James Bond room because it's very Ken Adam, It's cool. It's got like a blood pool for some reason. There's all blood going through those pipes. But anyway, they were deep in their lair. Anyway, this is where we learn that Whistler's telling him what Nomak told him. The Reaper strain didn't evolve. They're not just a new sort of vampire. They were genetically engineered. That's what we're going to learn now from... I forgot his name already. Damaskinos. I'm probably getting it all wrong, that. Oh, right, Damaskinos. Tell you, I'm good with names tonight. He tells him that, it was an experiment. They were trying to make vampires that were basically like Blade, that could, not have none of the weaknesses of vampires. And what he's doing here, he's got lots of fetuses of, presumably, baby vampires that are basically will be like the Reapers. But they're going to use Blade now to use his blood to make the vampires immune to sunlight. They go recombining their DNA. So anyway, begotten of his own flesh. He's asking how Nomak got hold of this ring. As she picks the ring up, and we see that it's like the ring that she has. There you go. And he says, I give it to my son. So didn't she know he had a son? Did she know, she had a brother called Nomak? No idea. Obviously not. It says that a gift from father to son, and then he walks off, kind of like the Emperor, kind of cackling. But anyway, so she goes after him. But then Reinhardt says, I thought he'd never leave, and then shoots Blade and beats up Whistler a bit, and then calls in some troops. Oh no, we haven't done that yet, because Blade's about to blow him up. Remember he's got the thing on the back of his head. But then Scud starts laughing and says, sorry man, it's not really a bomb, it's never designed to go off. I'm one of Damaskinos' familiars. So it turns out he's a baddie all along. He's going to show him now in a minute. He takes it off and tosses it over to, what's his face, Scud. Handcuffs Whistler. Is he going to show him now? Maybe I've missed it. He's got a tattoo on the inside of... There we go. Got a tattoo on the inside of his lip. I'm one of Damaskinos' familiars, man. But anyway. So he's a baddie. He's done a heel turn. But then it says, I've been onto you since they turned you. So when did they turn him? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. We don't know how long he's been turned, but Blade's been onto him, and we learned that the bomb actually is not a dud, and it blows up He blows up Scud. Boom. Anyway, dryly. It's a dry explosion because the producer asked Guillermo, so, with this explosion, when they blow Scud up, will it be, a wet explosion or a dry one? He said it'll be dry. I don't know why he wanted to know. Maybe, in case he got in range of it and he didn't make a mess of his clothes. I don't know. But anyway, so they all gang up they all grab Blade. That's it. And they're going to bring him in here, and they're going to, a bit like in the first film where they put him in the Iron Maiden thing, didn't they? They're just going to stick him on this table and hang on, where are we? There we go. And pierce his body with these huge spikes. A bit overkill, isn't it? They're going to drain his blood, much like they were going to do in the first film. So there. Anyway, so these are going to have a bit of a fight. There we go. See, Pete's sake, I'm too far. Where is it? He's picking. There we go. See, he's picked the handcuffs. So anyway, meanwhile, outside, Nomax followed them there because remember he watched them. He watched Blade helping Lissa, and he obviously followed them after that. There was no explanation in the script, by the way. He was just there. Guillermo Del Toro saying, in the script, he just arrives there, and we're not told how. So he said, we'll just assume that because he saw Blade and Lissa in the tunnel together, and then getting captured by the vampires, that he just followed them. He just followed them there. So that's how he knows. Because he wasn't supposed to know where this place is. But if it's his son, maybe he should know. I don't know. But anyway, so she's not happy with her dad. She's saying, that he's sent out their people and his own children to die. And obviously he doesn't care. He doesn't give a monkeys. He's been around for thousands of years. He just wants the vampire race to survive. Anyway, so they're having a bit of, Goldfinger sort of stuff, in it. What is it? Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Blade, I expect you to die. That sort of thing going on. But meanwhile, Nomax inside. Don't know how he's gone inside, but here he is taking out all the guards. He sees it there. So, what's his face? Whistler's escapes from. Reinhardt takes Blade's weapons that Reinhardt had and escapes through the vents and shoots the lawyer from underneath the vents. Anyway, then helps Blade, says, don't give up on me. Meanwhile, we see a pile of bodies. Apparently this was a drawing based on a drawing by Guillermo Del Toro. He did it like one of his doodles of just like a pile of bodies with Nomak feeding at the top of it. So there he is. They're retreating into the bowels of the building, but Nomak, he's fully charged, powered up now. He's coming for them. And anyway, but meanwhile, Blade is going to chuck himself in this big thing of blood to heal himself. He's going to power himself up. So in he goes. Reinhardt has a shot at him, and Blade falls in. Reinhardt obviously thinks he's killed him. There we go. Anyway, he rises up like Martin. Is it Martin Sheen? It is Martin Sheen, isn't it? In Apocalypse Now, rises up out of the blood. Although it's more like red water, doesn't it? Doesn't look like blood, does it? But anyway, rise up. All healed. Look, all the holes in him have healed up. So why aren't his little cuts that he's got in his head healed up? Maybe he needs to drink a bit of blood or something. I don't know. So anyway, so we're going to have a big fight here with all the guards. Are these guards vampires or humans, by the way? I have no idea. I think are they supposed to be humans? Anyway, but they all attack him one at a time. And Guillermo Del Toro admits, he says, it's a bit of a, like an inside joke or a meme or whatever you want to call it, that they all go one at a time. They don't hogpile him. They all attack him one at a time. And Blaze, dealing with them all, which he does. It goes on for quite some time, does this, I must admit. Then he finishes with a wrestling move, thinks he's The Rock. And then this, I don't know, this made me laugh more than anything. It was kind of goofy. He just like goes boing front of it. Anyway, so Reinhardt says, if you want anything doing properly, do it yourself. So he gets the sword. I think it's a blade sword, isn't it? He gets that out and tries to get Blade with it, but Blade catches it. Ting, there we go, in his hands. And Wesley Snipes actually cut his hand in this scene. Not just yet, not in this bit. But he does this and he flips the sword up. There we go. And that's to cut his hand when he caught it. When he caught it there, cut his hand. I don't know how, but he did. But anyway, he's sliced Reinhardt up the middle, perfectly up the middle, perfectly bisecting him, which kind of, is it ironic? Now he's got a line in his chin, much like Nomak. But there we go. Cool. And then he sets on fire because he's a vampire. So that's in a Reinhardt, thank God. Alright, then Whistler chucks him his sunglasses. Now, is this like a reverse shot or something? I don't know. He throws the sunglasses, then we see him spinning through the frame, and then he catches him like that. But then look in the background. He's still like going like that. Is Whistler? Look. So I think maybe this was a reverse shot. I don't know. And it was actually filmed. We see he puts the glasses on like that. And I think did they film it? He took the glasses off and then threw them behind him, and they just had Chris Christopherson in the background doing that. I thought it'll look better when we play it the other way around. I think that's what they did. So Blade goes off to do his stuff, and Whistler shoots these embryos in this thing, and they all blow up for some reason. Don't know. But anyway, is there more embryos in this? Do they blow these up? I have no idea. It should all blow up. If they want it to be like a James Bond thing, it should all blow up at the end, shouldn't it? Anywho, Damascenus has got his helicopter waiting there. He's heading, but Lissa's got other ideas. She closes the shutters. He says, "We're locked in. Are you insane?" He says. He's Blade. He's always cool with or without the shades. He is. So she's obviously turned on him, on her father. It's Frankenstein, isn't it? The monster turns on its creator. Here he is Nomak. So makes short work of his dad, bites him. There we go. Any minute now. There we go. Rips his throat or whatever. We see he's got green blood because he's super duper old, according to Guillermo Del Toro. He's that old, his blood's turned green. Don't know. Has it become like iron based? Is it like Spock? He's turned into a Vulcan. Anyway, he collapses. And then, as I said earlier, he wanted him to look like marble, like an ancient Greek statue, and that's what happens, particularly at the end. There we go. He kind of just turn. And even cracks look like an old marble statue. Anyway, so she says, just finish me off. So he does, he bites her. But then Blade arrives, and so they're having their fight. Jumps down and skewers Nomak, which obviously doesn't do the job. Just pulls the sword out, has a bit of coming out. So they're gonna have a fight now. Ding 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 ding. It's very Matrix, but it is cool. It is cool. Good fight scenes in this film, I must admit. And they're all chucking. A lot of CG, which is fine. It came out before Spider-Man, by the way. I think he said, the Guillermo, that it's probably the first film where you had these sort of superhero fights, because it is more of a superhero film than the first one. To have these, superhuman fighting done with CG and stuff, because it came out before the first Spider-Man film. I think a few months before that. I know it was after X-Men, but that didn't have a lot of superhero fights, really, did it? Not like this, anyway. Not like martial arts and stuff. But anyway. Rakes his eyes or gouges his eyes. Oh, they're still fighting away. Seems like Nomak's getting the upper hand. His sword gets broken. Somehow. I can't remember how. But here we go. He picks up the blade of his sword. I can't remember how his sword got broken. But he picks up the blade of his sword and thrusts it into Nomak's under his arm there. Because remember, to get him from the side, because they've got big bony plates covering their heart, so he got him from the side, which he does, and he just staggers, he headbutts him. There we go. That's it. That's where he shoved it in there, isn't it? There we go. We see it go into his heart, but it's not quite in properly, and it. They did this in another film, didn't they? A comedy film. I'm sure it was a comedy film, and I can't remember which one it was now, about vampires. Which one was it now? Where a vampire doesn't quite get got, and then he does. I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, Space Force, Girl Force, JJ West fan says, don't cover Blade Trinity. That movie gave me black rage, and I'm white. Still hope we got Blade 4. You know what? Was it Buffy? Oh, was it Buffy? Right, fair enough. I didn't mind Blade Trinity. You know, it wasn't great, but I didn't mind it. But what happened there? Anyway, so they're both kind of done in, much like Sami Zayn and John Cena this Friday on SmackDown. They were both legged out, done in. Brock Lesnar's going to come in now and beat them both up. But no, he's not. So I'm guessing Nomak knows he's done for. I don't know why don't he just pull it out? I don't know. Maybe he can't get purchase on it. I don't know. But he just pushes it in even more to finishes himself off. Is this like the Joker in? I forgot now. Killing thing. I forgot what they call it now. Killing Joke. And he kills himself, doesn't he? In that, but does in the cartoon version. Breaks his own neck somehow. But yeah, it hurts, but not anymore. And then he does it, and he turns to fire and all that stuff. So Blade has won, and suddenly he's fine. He can't cure her of this because she's going to turn into a Reaper. So he's going to just take her outside into the sunshine, much like I forgot her name. They call her now. In 30 Days of Night, she takes Josh Hartnett out, doesn't she, to watch the sunrise. He's doing that. It'll come to me in the middle of the night, what she's called. She used to be in loads of films, didn't she, in the mid-aughts. And I forgot her name. Australian actress. Anyway, he takes her out into the middle. And the helicopter's buggered off by the looks of it, by the way. It's not there anymore. They've thought, sod it, we're going. And she just, she burns up in his arms. There we go. Burn. And there we go. And then we're in London, England. Justin says, I think he could have taken it out, but he wasn't the bad guy. He was in pain. I suppose he'd done his job, hadn't he? I suppose he'd killed his dad. He got his revenge, and that was it. I suppose he was in pain from that Reaper change. But if he pulled it out, he would most likely have won. Blade beat down. Yeah, Blade were done in as well. That's it. Brock Lesnar would have beaten them both. Pardon me. Have a drinky poo because we're nearly done. We're in London. You know we're in London because there's a double-decker bus and they're in Piccadilly Circus by the looks of it, because it must be a weird American werewolf-free day in London. But here they are. There they are, Piccadilly Circus. Probably at the same... It's converted from a cinema into a naked city non-stop striptease joint. Dancing in the nude. Anyway, it's a tenner in. This is where we see this vampire chap, which I think is called Rush. I could be wrong. Crank, I saw some boobies there, not close. So in he goes. Is there a deleted scene, or is there a different version of this scene where the glass was more dirty? I'm sure I've seen that somewhere. Justin says, that's why the third movie, Drac Fight, was a letdown. It should have been better than the Nomad fight. It should have been. It's bloody Dracula, isn't it? But they called him Drake. It was stupid, wasn't it, really? I mean, the Dracula Drake thing of the third film was the worst part of it. I liked all the other stuff. I liked Triple H, speaking of wrestling. I liked Triple H in it, and I liked... I forgot her name. That's from Lost in Space and loads of other stuff. Superman Returns, I can't remember her name. She were alright in it. All the other vampires, apart from Drake, were fine. They should have just stuck with them. Yes, the glass had sperm on it, says Space Force Girl Force JJ West fans. Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, so he's going in there, getting ready to do his stuff. But the thing opens up, oh, for Pete's sake, opens up, and we see that it's Blade on the other side of the glass, and he takes him out. And that's the end of that film. So there we go. There we go. Cool film. It is by far the best of the Blade films. I love the first one. Love this one. This third one, I don't mind it. I don't mind the third one. And I like the series. I think the series were okay. It'd be nicer if it had had somebody better than... I forgot his name now. It's Sticky Fingers, whatever they called him. I thought he was all right. But the series itself was okay. But it could have been better. But anyway. Yes, hope we get a fourth film. Good. Hang on, where are we? Is it going to show up? Hello? Oh, there. Hang on, where are we? Good movie. Saw it when it came out with me ma. Yeah, I saw it on DVD or whatever. I didn't see it at the cinemas. We are getting a Blade video game next year. Cool. I probably won't be able to do it because I'm crap at games. The Blade series was good in my opinion. Yeah, we're all right. I say with Sticky Fingers and what they call her. She was in Stargate Atlantis. Julie Wagner, the lovely Julie Wagner. I think she became a vampire in it, didn't she? Sure she did. I think. Anyway, we have a concept trailer for Blade 4. Hashtag Blade 4 we want. Yeah. I mean, will it be with Wesley or will it be with Mahershala Ali? God knows what's going to happen. Because remember, we did see Wesley again, didn't we, in Deadpool and Wolverine. And he said there's only one Blade. So there we go. Right, I'll just double check, make sure there isn't anything at the end. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a post-credit scene. No, I think this is the days before those, isn't it? But yeah, cool flick. Is Blade 2. So there we go. Ours is with Wesley, set in the future. Oh, cool. You mean you've done one? Oh, right. Your concept. Oh, right. So I've got to look for that Blade 4 we want. Is it on YouTube? I'll look on YouTube. Go and subscribe to Space Force Girl Force JJ West fans. In fact, I'll go and look now. If we can find it. Hang on. Space Force. See if that finds anything. There we go. Oh, what's that? Or is it somewhere else? It's a very saucy channel you've got there. I'll hit subscribe. Anyway, thanks, man. We'll give you a shout out on Reddit, etc. Rarely go on Reddit unless I come across it, in a search for something. Usually, how do I do this in Windows 11? That's the only times I go on Reddit, because it's in my search results. They're going to do a Blade based on the I Am Legend story. I think parts of this film, Guillermo Del Toro said parts of this film, he said, were inspired by I Am Legend, which, it's a vampire story, and it's a very similar tale, I suppose. Yep, or somewhat like that. But so there we go. We we'll leave it there. All done for another week, even though I were a day late this week. But never mind. Right, what's coming up next? So we're on Saturday. Monday, where have I put it? On Monday, for Magnificent Mondays this week, hopefully it won't be late, we're doing Under Siege, not Under Siege 2, Under Siege 1, Steven Seagal, Erica Eleniak, Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey, and many more, having fun on a boat, ship, whatever. There we go. But anyway, so that's coming on Monday, and next Friday, I haven't decided. Next Friday, depends. I don't know where I've put that now. Oh, it's there. If my other DVD Blu-ray arrives of the box and it works, next Fridays will be the box, otherwise I'll pick something else. Don't know what. Yeah, and that's it. So we'll leave it there. So thanks, Justin. Thanks, Space Force, Girl Force, JJ West fans, for keeping me company. Did anybody else pop in? I better check on Rumble. Make sure there's no messages on Rumble. There isn't usually, but I'll have a look just in case. No, there ain't. No, there ain't. Right, fair enough. Where are we? Justin says, yeah, I just remember that's what Wesley wanted to do. Oh, the I Am Legend style. Always fun, brother. Can't wait. Seagal running a train in cowboy boots. Outrunning a train in cowboy boots. That's the second one, though, isn't it? That second one's on the train, isn't it? But this one's on the USS Missouri, the first one. So maybe I'll do the second one as a special. We'll see. We will see. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are, don't have nightmares, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see you there.